dust storm, man. Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
Alright, so we've really been looking forward to this month. October. Mandalorian's coming. And we just got our appetizer, Star Wars Squadrons. This is the Wars and More. I'm Joe. And of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing all right, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I got a new Star Wars video game.
Yeah, that's always a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when that video game just like plays on all the things you wish you could do as a child.
Oh. Is that how it went?
Yes.
No, that's good.
Yes. You know, looking at it as like, man, I want to fly an X-Wing, or man, I want to fly a Y-Wing, or I want to fly a TIE fighter. Those are the things I was looking at. You know?
Yeah.
And I think Squadrons is the first time in, you know, Star Wars gaming where you really kind of feel like you're actually doing it, you know? Obviously you don't have the sensations you would have of actually doing it, but I think as far as the way the game plays and how you control it, this is as close as it's gonna get, at least for our current technology.
Right on. So it's like that good. I mean, I gotta say, like, you know, my I'm gonna date myself here, but you know, Star Wars games for me, I mean, we're talking the old vector graphics games, which were like, ooh, you know, but
Right.
so
Did you ever play X-Wing or?
sure, a little bit.
Okay. So those were crude, right? Like
Yeah,
control wise, but it was like, oh man, I'm flying an X-Wing.
exactly.
Well, in hindsight, no, you weren't.
Gotcha.
No, I mean, this game, I mean, I would compare it to a flight sim that you get to fight in more than a, you know, ship to ship fighting game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I have spent more of my time wondering if I'm doing the right thing in the cockpit and avoiding, you know, obstacles
Okay.
than I do actually gunning someone down.
Wow.
I mean, there's plenty of that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But I see what you're saying though. That's almost like almost all you had to worry about in those old games you're talking about.
Yep. Just shoot the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not like that anymore.
Wow. Yeah, because what was that from? That was like the old Sega, 32X or something like that? Or Sega CD? I don't know. But
X-Wing?
one of them.
Yeah,
Regardless.
it was one of them.
Yeah, regardless.
Regardless. I can't remember when X-Wing was. But, I mean, the one I remember most, and I believe it was on, it might have been N64, I think was X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Heck, it might have been earlier than that, but I thought it was about N64 time.
Okay.
So that's the one I remember most. I don't remember much of the other ones. The other
Gotcha.
ones I played, you know, not at release time.
Okay, this was Star Wars Arcade. Gotcha. 32X. I remember
Oh,
playing
you're talking
that a
about
lot.
the vector graphics one?
No, the vector graphics one way predates this. So
Right.
by about 20
Star
years.
Wars Arcade. So Trench Run.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they give you tons of things to play with in this thing. You know, we talked about it coming up to it. Oh, you're going to get to control your your engines and your blasters and your shields.
Right. Yeah, and put bobbleheads on your dash. I'm sorry.
Well, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
I haven't had. I mean, I could. I look at them. I'm like, do I really want to spend my points on those?
Yeah, that's just one of those things that they kept talking about, and it's like, okay, I'm more interested in the flying stuff,
Right. Yeah. But yeah, worrying about your shields, worrying about your engines. Are you doing the right thing at this moment? Because it's like, oh man, if I boost my engines right now, I can catch that guy. But
wow. Okay.
if I boost my engines right now and go catch that guy, is there going to be a guy behind me?
Right.
And man, people come out of nowhere.
I bet.
So yeah, my online experience right now hasn't been. I mean, it's been fun.
Right.
Even though it's been terrible.
Gotcha.
Like, I apparently am not good at this game.
Well, I know I would be not good at this game. That's for sure.
Okay, yeah. So Star Wars X-Wing, I thought this was the case. I thought I played it on my grandfather's computer back in the day. So it was a DOS, Macintosh, and Windows game.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, I totally played that off a floppy disk.
Heck yeah. Yeah. That's how I played, Jedi Knight? I think, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have been one too.
Yeah.
Man, that was not good. I remember that guy. So I played that game like later.
Gotcha.
Like way later. But yeah, like I was saying, online, like I'm totally getting my ass kicked.
Gotcha.
But I'm having a lot of fun getting my ass kicked.
So, yeah, I mean, this game's been out for a week or so now, and I'm sure there's some people that have spent every waking moment playing it. So, I know you got things to do, like work. So,
yeah. Oh, trust me, it shows. There's some dudes that were doing some stuff. I'm like, how are you this good at this game?
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
Like, I watched a guy chasing one of my teammates in front of me. Like, I'm like trying to get there, and I'm watching what's going on, and I'm like, how the hell you do that?
Right.
I want to do that.
That's funny. So,
either that or they're just very good at flight sim like games,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, okay. This might be unfair to even ask, but does it react kind of like a flight simulator type game? Okay. Yes. I didn't know if that kind of stuff would be, if it would react a little differently, supposedly because it's in space or not, but okay.
Yes, even the simple controls for the game.
Yeah.
Like so I would say if anyone has ever played Ace Combat.
Okay.
Ace Combat would be a good comparison to this because Ace Combat has, simplified flight controls to where you can pretty much move the plane wherever you want with the right stick.
Okay.
And it doesn't even let you like roll on your own. So it's like it by moving the right joystick around certain ways, it would just, pitch, yaw, and roll accordingly.
Okay.
Of what the game thought was like appropriate for right there. So it limits you for sure.
Okay.
But if you don't know how to, if you're not comfortable with how you would control an aircraft, this works for you. And you don't want to worry about like, oh wow, I just over rotated or crap.
Gotcha.
So, or man, I put too much rudder into that and now I just missed my target.
Wow. Okay.
So Ace Combat would have something like that. This game does not have that.
So Are those the guys that they brought in on this game?
The Ace Combat guys?
Yeah, I thought they brought some flight sim guys in on them.
They probably did. With the
Hmm.
way this game controls, they probably absolutely did. You know, it would play more like the latest Ace Combat and less like the one before it. I can't remember the names.
Okay.
But there was one where you're like, you would go into these parts where you like lock on, and then it would like fly you between buildings and stuff on its own. You would be able to move like side to side, but you didn't actually control the aircraft while you were doing this.
Right. That's what I remember of all that stuff.
And I'm like, this is awful.
You're kind of like on a rail no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not on rails, especially in multiplayer. There is no help.
Gotcha.
In multiplayer, you got to know what you're doing. And it's not hard to learn. You know, I would say it's not hard to learn. It's hard to be good at.
Okay. Well, you know me. I am definitely like the just the campaign guy. I'm not a big
right. And there are and the campaign there's a learning curve to the flight controls. Because I played a little while with a controller and then I switched to my flight stick. Flight stick, definitely the way to go.
Gotcha. I'm sure that would
Definitely the way to go.
It would make the experience like just that much funner. Kind of immerse you that one level more, huh?
Yes, yeah. With the flight stick, it immerses you that much more. And the controls just feel that much better. It's just easier. They make more sense.
Gotcha.
So you make the connections quicker. Like, okay, I pull on the flight stick this way, it does this. I push it that way, it does this. You know,
way more intuitive than thumbs, huh?
Yes. Now I've been playing, games that require flight sticks. I've been playing Ace Combat on, their expert control scheme for a while now.
Okay.
And so I'm used to that in my flight games.
Gotcha.
So that was an easy transition, but I wanted to see what it was like on a controller before I just went right to the flight stick.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I do it not because it's easier or anything like that. It just feels cooler, right? And like
absolutely. Yeah.
Got the flight stick. I got my throttle. I got all these buttons everywhere that I can just hit with my thumbs. I don't have to think about it, right?
Yep.
Once I learn, okay, this button does this, it's all second nature.
Right.
So, most of it's right on, like I said, I just move my thumb or flick my index finger up on the flight stick and I do most of what I got. And then the rest of the controls are on my throttle, on the side of my throttle.
Okay.
So like my switching between targets and, my shield bias. So my X button's on the side of the throttle. So I hold that down and I can select my shield bias.
Gotcha.
So do it without thinking about it and without ever pulling my finger off the trigger.
Nice.
That's the important part for me. Because if I want to shoot, my finger's always on the trigger.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So when I have shit, I can just shoot,
Right. Yeah, I would have a lot of those
the way
moments.
it is in real life.
Yeah, right. I don't think so. In real life in space battle. Yeah.
Oh no, I just meant like in a plane,
Oh, I gotcha.
Still not just like real life.
Exactly.
But yeah, I enjoy the game much more on a flight stick. But there is problems with that right now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like flight sticks. So Star Wars Squadron, has really, really hit the flight stick market hard. And this is shortly after Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, right?
Oh.
So flight sticks were the next best thing for people who couldn't get the yoke and throttle controls.
Oh.
So they're like, oh, I'll get a flight stick and throttle controls, right? So Microsoft Flight Simulator already hit this a little bit.
Aha.
But then Squadrons comes out and hits it again.
So you're saying there's a shortage?
There's a shortage.
Nice.
And, whenever there's a shortage of something,
Yeah.
you can find them. You can still find them.
For triple the price?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, here's an example. So it's I don't have this one. I don't know what this one is. So the Thrustmaster T16000M normally retails for around $60.
Okay.
So right now the only places that have it in stock are third-party retailers who are selling it for about $175.
Triple the price. I was right. Yes.
Triple the price.
Excellent. Dang. Okay, well.
So a lot of flight sticks were already out of stock because of Flight Simulator.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much everything that was left in stock is now gone. So finding a flight stick right now is about impossible.
Yeah.
Well, not impossible if you are willing to spend triple the price.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And all the companies are like, yeah, we don't know. But Thrustmaster is one company that is saying, okay, we're making them. We're going to get them out there, but we don't know when we're going to catch up. So
gotcha.
So at least someone's like, okay, yeah, we see it. We want to make sure we get some stuff out there.
Okay.
So I'm glad I bought mine, beginning of the year.
Right. Interesting. But overall, so far, been fun.
Oh, it's been a blast.
Cool.
Like I said, I absolutely love this game. It's a ton of fun. I must say that the balance in the game is pretty remarkable, being at launch. Obviously, there's still I still feel there's like some power balance issues between the New Republic ships and the Empire ships.
Oh, really? How so?
Yeah. Well, they the TIE fighters don't have shields. Republic ships do.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
When I've been in Republic ships, I find it much easier to shoot a TIE down than it is when I'm in a TIE trying to shoot down an X-Wing.
Ah, gotcha.
Now, normally, if you were playing a Star Wars sim game, right? Like, it was 100% simulating real life Star Wars. Not real life Star Wars, but
yeah. Okay.
But simulating Star Wars as would be, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, TIEs are going to be weaker, but there's going to be about 4 times as many of them.
Right. Yes.
Because that was the Empire's thing.
Yes. Throw numbers.
Cheap?
Absolutely.
Numbers. The ship was supposed to be easy to manufacture.
Yep. And
quick to manufacture so that we can get as many pilots out there as we can because we want to overwhelm.
Right.
So, TIE Fighter versus X-Wing 1-on-1, X-Wing wins.
Okay.
It's just a better quality ship.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, though.
Shields make a big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
When you take a blaster and it, deflects off a shield versus you take a blaster and it
blows you up.
Penetrates the armor of your ship.
Yeah. So, okay. So you've gotten a chance to play both sides then.
Yes.
Okay. So that's like one of your biggest takeaways then, I assume.
And it's like they did definitely take into account that issue and try to balance it. But I think there's a little more work to be done.
Okay.
I would say probably 95% of all the games I played, in dogfight mode, the New Republic won.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
And just to put it out there, it wasn't me, because I was on the New Republic side plenty, and we won when I was on the New Republic side. And on the Empire side, I found myself on the losing side most of the time.
Gotcha.
So,
like
I said, now these other guys were playing one ship down, essentially.
Right.
Because, like I said, I'm not very good. I'm kidding a little bit. I mean, I can hold my own.
Sure.
I'm not very good at getting a bunch of kills, but I'm very good at staying alive.
Well, and that's part of it, right? But like I said, that I'm sure that there are some of those players out there who have been spending every waking moment playing that game. Yeah. Which, we like the games and all, but it's,
right, in
moderation.
But yeah, I can definitely run away with the best of them, man. Like,
nice.
I don't get killed a lot. I just don't get a ton of kills.
Right on. Also a good attribute.
Yeah, I get and the good thing about that is I lead them right into my teammates.
Nice.
So I run away, and then they come into my teammates, and they're like, "God damn it!" Another thing I wanted to point out is I thought this was an interesting thing for them to say about Squadrons after, this is EA I'm talking about. After just a couple days after release. It's usually not a good thing to come out right away and say, yeah, we have no plans for DLC, new modes, or, porting it to Oculus Quest.
Really?
Yeah. The Oculus Quest thing, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can say there's no plans for that. Even if you don't have plans for DLC or new modes, you probably shouldn't say it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like putting an exclamation point on, here's what you got, and that's it, right? I mean,
yeah.
Dang. That's, yeah. I mean, a lot of people look forward to that a lot of times, right? I mean,
which I will say the current gaming market has kind of hurt games with stuff like that.
Okay.
Because you're always wondering, what's the next DLC?
Sure. Okay.
What's the next mode, right? Like,
yeah.
What are you adding? What else am I getting? But you got to keep in mind, this one didn't make you buy a season pass, which is what games make you do. Like, they make you spend more money for the stuff that they never put into the final game. Like, if you're making a game and you got all this stuff that you're going to put out, you got names for it, you got all this stuff, like, why isn't that just in the game? I mean, hell, I'm paying $60, right?
Yeah, true.
Now, the one advantage they have with this game is this game was $40.
Right.
So, it was $40. It was a relatively small download, which was kind of cool. I wasn't, fighting to get the game downloaded. Like,
right.
Like, man, when's this 100 gig game going to download so I can play it? No, it's like 25, and it took me like an hour and a half.
Wow. That's cool.
So there's very few things to complain about. I did experience some bugs in story mode.
Okay.
I've been looking around trying to find reasons for this. People have been linking it to flight sticks. I don't know how that makes a ton of sense.
Okay.
Like, if you're using a flight stick, it causes this to happen. I'm like, it doesn't really make sense to me.
Right.
Like, why does this controller change the, dynamic of the code?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
So, there's some bugs, and I think there's simple bugs that, a patch or two could take care of.
Okay.
Just you play through a mission, you get to the next point where you're going to see a little cutscene or whatever, and it just goes nowhere. Now you're just floating in space with nothing to do. You can fly around and look at everything, and everything looks amazing, but yeah, you're not getting the next step of your mission.
Oh.
So you're just kind of in stasis.
Wow. Okay.
That's one thing I was gonna expand on too. I talked about the balance of the game, and then I went right off into the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters,
Yeah.
the balance between them. The other balance that I was talking about is the game doesn't feel too fast and it doesn't feel too slow.
Oh.
So while you're playing, it's got a good balance of speed.
Okay.
So you have time to react.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it gives you time to do all those things in the cockpit you got to do.
Right.
Right.
But it doesn't feel too slow at the same time.
Because you're so busy doing all those things.
Right.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean,
yeah,
I like that. I like hearing that, to be honest. So.
Yeah, there's a good balance of gameplay. And then the other thing is, in multiplayer modes, I don't know how they pulled this off. Almost every game in multiplayer at launch, it's buggy. You got players skipping across the screen when you look at them, right? You know, they're lagging, whatever.
Right.
This game was ridiculously smooth.
Okay, cool.
I mean, everything you're seeing, like when you die and respawn, and this is when you would see it most times with games like this. This is when you would see it in Battlefront 2. When you die and respawn and you're heading back towards the battle and you're seeing everything unfold in front of you, you're seeing, your teammates and the enemies battling it out in front of you.
Right.
That's when you would see, like, a ship that would blink or, cut out for a second, or,
yep.
A little skipping across the screen, things like that. None of that. It's ridiculously smooth, and the environment is ridiculously cluttered, because every single map has tons of space debris and things like that to fly around, which is good for me, who's good at running, because I can use that to get away.
Right. So even with all that in the environment, it's smooth. That's kind of cool.
It was very smooth. It was super impressive with the product that they put out for the price that they put it out and the size of the game,
yeah,
all those things. They found a really good balance for this game.
Cool.
And not only that, but it's all cross platform, so you're dealing with that too.
Oh yeah.
So when you're in a multiplayer battle, you're, unless you turn it off, which you have the option to. I don't, because I'd rather just get a match right now.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's not the end of the world if I get in a match that I, get the crap kicked out of me. It doesn't bother me.
That's good.
As long as I can have a little fun doing it, which, I mean, I have fun just flying around, because, even in those ones where I bugged, I flew around and looked at the whole map and
cool.
Make the best out of bugging out, right?
Heck yeah.
No, it won't load. I guess I could just look at what's a Star Destroyer look like up close? What's this look like up close?
Right.
You can do a slow speed flyby of all this stuff and look at all the detail, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That does sound cool.
So if you're looking to geek out flying Star Wars ships, I'd say this is the best way to do it that I've seen yet.
Awesome. Sounds like it's fulfilled a lot of the stuff we found lacking in all those previous games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it exceeded my expectations. I expected this to be much like the Battlefront 2 Starfighter mode. It's not. It took that and turned it up to 11. Have something to add to the conversation? Or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsAndMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsAndMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com. All right, so we've talked a lot about the High Republic. Some good, some bad. like their Power Rangers lightsaber.
Right. Yeah, that was bad.
Which I gotta say, I'm blown away. A lot of people like that thing.
Really?
Yeah, we're outliers, Doug.
I don't know, man. I've seen a couple write-ups on it that kind of agreed with us. It was
yeah, I have too, but you had it right there. A couple.
Right. Okay. Well.
I think we're in the minority here.
Huh.
Which is really weird. They're really latching onto that elegant thing, which it fits that, right? It's elegant.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Okay. I could do that if you want.
Huh?
I could do that if you want.
I mean, we could spend another 3 hours talking about what we don't like and what, the little things we may like about that lightsaber.
Right.
We're not going to do that.
Okay.
We're not going to do that. I think we've made our point.
Okay.
The White Ranger would love that thing.
Yes, he would.
But they put out an opening crawl for the High Republic.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and read this thing.
Okay.
And we will discuss. So it's Star Wars, the High Republic.
Oh, come on. Hey, I want your best Tom Kane voice here. Come on.
Man, I don't know if I can do Tom Kane.
Really? Star Wars, the High Republic, right? Something like that.
The galaxy is at peace.
Yeah, see?
Ruled by the glorious Republic, protected by the noble and wise Jedi Knights.
Perfect.
As a symbol of all that is good, the Republic is about to launch Starlight Beacon into the far reaches of the Outer Rim. This new space station will serve as a ray of hope for all to see.
I'm loving this.
Just as the... What?
I said I'm loving this. This is great. I'm sorry.
Right, now I'm going to read it for real.
Okay.
How was it, though?
It was excellent. I loved it. It was great.
It sounded like ass to me.
No, it was awesome.
I'm no Tom Kane. So Star Wars, the High Republic. The galaxy is at peace, ruled by the glorious Republic and protected by the noble and wise Jedi Knights. As a symbol of all that is good, the Republic is about to launch Starlight Beacon into the far reaches of the Outer Rim. This new space station will serve as a ray of hope for all to see. But just as a magnificent renaissance spreads throughout the Republic, so does a frightening new adversary. Now the guardians of peace and justice must face a threat to themselves, the galaxy, and the Force itself. Interesting.
I might be nitpicking. I'm just going to say that up front. But there's a couple things that bother me. Okay. Star Wars, right? The galaxy is at peace. I mean, we're starting off with no conflict, which I don't think we've really had that yet.
Nope.
Even yeah. So
you're accurate.
Yeah.
We have not had that yet.
Right. So I'm unsure of how that's going to go. So, maybe it's going to be a new direction and it's going to go great. Hopefully. But I'm a little leery of that. So, and this Starlight Beacon thing, didn't we kind of get an excerpt that kind of tells us that thing's going to get blowed up or something like that?
Maybe.
Or maybe that's the title of one of the books or something like that. There's a problem with it or something. I don't know.
Starlight Beacon gets blowed up.
Something like that. But I don't know. The space station will serve as a ray of hope for all to see. What? Okay.
For all to see? On the Outer Rim?
I know. Look, everybody on Tatooine.
Yeah, the core is like, it's a ray of hope. The outer rim's like, oh great, more junk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we start off with the galaxy is at peace, okay? And then the third paragraph of this thing says, but just as a magnificent renaissance spreads through the Republic, isn't it a renaissance that actually leads to a galaxy at peace? I don't know. I could be nitpicking, like I said from the beginning.
I mean, the Renaissance would lead into the High Republic, right?
Yeah, it's kind of
They
what
can't be in the High Republic, but they're experiencing a Renaissance. The Renaissance would be like what goes into that.
Right. The Renaissance is the ramping back up to good things, right?
Yeah.
So
the Renaissance is, man, it's been rough.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
hey, good things are happening.
We're coming out of the Dark Ages into the Renaissance.
Yeah, I think this is a misuse of the word Renaissance.
I agree with that.
This is you call it the High Republic, so you're in the height. This is when it's the best.
Yes.
That's not a Renaissance.
Right.
A Renaissance is the transition from the Dark Ages to,
Yeah. I don't know. Again.
Yeah, the Renaissance is the period in between the Low Republic and the High Republic.
The Low Republic. Yes. I would agree with that 100%.
Hey, do you think when they launched Starlight Beacon, they're like, the discussion on Coruscant is like, we're going to launch a beacon and Tatooine's going to pay for it?
I like it. Oh, that's excellent. It's going to be the best beacon you ever saw.
Amazing. No one's ever done it like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I'm just, I almost get the feeling
Those Republic guys couldn't do it.
God.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Trying to derail it. I'm doing my best.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. It's all right.
You made me do Tom Kane, so
yeah, which was pretty good. I gotta say, I liked it. I feel like they're somebody had a vision, right? This whole Renaissance type vision, like old, the old Republic, the High Republic, whatever you wanted to call it. And we need to put this word in there. It's almost what it feels like to me. So I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but that thing just kind of feels like it's wedged in there. So
yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong, but I reserve the right to be
wrong. That was easy.
Yeah. Yeah, good work, Joe.
Okay, what about this? What about this frightening new adversary? And and it being a threat to the Jedi, the galaxy, and the Force itself.
So that's the
Force
most
itself is the part that I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's the most interesting part of the whole thing. I don't know how this new adversary could be a threat to the Force, but it sounds to me like they're going to go down a road which could, lead down some interesting paths. I do like the Force stuff, right? I'm thinking, and I only have what we've had to go off before. So I'm thinking stuff like the Asalamari, right? The old Thrawn books where, you're a Jedi, Luke. You're used to having the Force with you, and all of a sudden it just don't work.
I brought a lizard. You're screwed.
Exactly. So
yeah, but I get that, but like, how is that a threat to the Force itself?
Okay, the Force.
That's what I'm hanging up on. Like, what could threaten the Force itself? So if you think of the Force as its own entity, separate from the Jedi, separate from, like, you wield the Force. You utilize it being there.
Yep.
But what could threaten that? The Force is in all living things, right? Like, in order to threaten the Force itself, you'd have to threaten literally all life in the galaxy.
Aha. Because when you asked that question, the first thing I thought of saying was the complete, utter destruction of the galaxy. Now, if that's the case, then here during the High Republic, we have a larger threat than anything we ever saw during the Skywalker saga. And you would think we might have heard something about that during the prequels.
Yeah, because like the Empire was like super bad because they're like, man, they made this thing that can blow up a planet.
A whole planet. Yes.
A whole planet. And then the First Order was really bad because they made this thing that could like take out 6 at the same time.
Right. Yeah. A whole star system.
Like, whoa. But these guys that came before them, nah, they're the real bad guys because they were trying to get rid of all of it.
I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. We're taking a leap here. We're speculating, but if it's not that, then I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the threat to the Force itself is what gets me, and maybe it's a threat to corrupt it.
Okay.
Maybe it's a threat to maybe not necessarily the Force itself, but the ability of other beings to connect with it. So maybe to separate beings from the Force. Like the Force will always be.
Right.
It's there. But if you can isolate people from the ability to utilize it, I guess that's a roundabout way to threaten the Force itself. Because you're cutting off an entire species from it?
I mean, then you'd have to explain how you're going to do that for all Force sensitives, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be the tough part, which, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm anxious to see how they go about it.
Yeah. That little bit at the end, I'm like really hung up on. And I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what it's there for. It's there to intrigue us and get us to, pick up the books and read them.
Yeah, this is marketing, right? Like,
exactly.
Like, what do they mean the Force itself? I guess I'm gonna have to read it.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I'm so angry they would do that. I'm gonna read these books and find out what they're talking about.
Nice.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So I don't know how they do it. We talked about how they really can't go down the Sith road.
Right.
It's within that realm of which the galaxy think the Sith are extinct. So
yeah, because it was a surprise in the prequels. That they surfaced.
So. But I guess we're under 90 days away right now, right? We're under 3 months away from Light of the Jedi, which will be the first book that comes out.
Right. That's what, around the 5th of January? Something like that? Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Okay.
Somewhere in January.
Yeah. Yeah, January 5th. Yep.
So I guess we'll start to have this puzzle unraveled in, 3 months.
Sounds like a plan. Can't wait.
All right. Speaking of mysteries to unravel.
Mysteries?
Yes. There's tons of mysteries surrounding Mandalorian Season 2.
Yeah.
Everybody's in it.
Yeah, that's what we've been hearing. That's what we've been hearing.
It's a pretty big mystery.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Joe?
Well, before we go down the crazy path.
Okay.
Before we go nuts. Here,
Yes.
let's just talk about they released the writers for season 2.
Ah, yes.
Writers is a bold statement.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's about
It's Jon Favreau, and he let 2 other guys write 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, that's about what happened in season 1.
I know.
So
I just like nitpicking the word writers.
I got you.
So it's true. There are writers.
Yeah.
But when you look through the list, it's like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau.
Yep.
Rick, I'm gonna butcher your last name.
Famuyiwa.
Aha.
Yeah, that's Famuyiwa.
Famuyiwa?
Yeah.
And then Jon Favreau.
Right. So
go ahead.
I mean, I think the big speculation here is that Dave Filoni's episode is going to be the one where we get to meet Ahsoka, right?
Man, it's funny I said go ahead, and that was exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, well, thanks.
I was like, well, we know episode 5 is when we're going to see Ahsoka.
Yeah, I that's pretty much the assumption across the board, I think.
Well, actually, I'll clarify.
Yeah.
Episode 4 is when we see Ahsoka.
Right at the end of the episode.
Yep, right at the end.
Yeah.
Then episode 5, we're going to learn a little about Ahsoka.
Yeah. Well.
And I think that will be the only episode.
I have a feeling it's going to be that way too. Yeah. But, in a way, I'm kind of okay with that.
I'm definitely okay with that. I'm not being... I'm not going to be exclusionary when I say I want this show to be about the Mandalorian. Right?
Right.
I don't want an 8-episode season to have 6 episodes of Ahsoka of the Mandalorian.
Right.
Okay? It's supposed to be about the Mandalorian.
Yep. I would like to think that, we see Ahsoka, find out what she's got going on in the Mandalorian show here, and then she goes off to do her thing. They can reserve the right to bring her back or whatever, at a later date. But yeah, she doesn't have, we don't have to dwell on that character here. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say if I had to put a limit, just preliminary. I mean, obviously they could do more and I could be totally happy with it. I don't know. But from a preliminary standpoint, with my feeling that I want this show to be about the Mandalorian, I wouldn't want to see Ahsoka show up in more than 3 shows, more than 3 episodes.
Well, that'd be a good chunk.
It's a good chunk.
Yeah.
It's a good chunk. But it falls short of half.
Right.
That's pretty much why I made that choice. And you think about, if you introduce in one, she's heavily involved in the next one, and her departures in the one after that.
Right. And to be honest, I think they could tie that up quicker than that. Just my opinion.
I think you could do it like that and have an episode that had her heavily involved and not have to worry about introduction and departure. You can do introduction and departure really quickly in the other episodes. No big deal.
Right.
But you save time by putting those in by bookending it that way.
Yeah. And I'm totally with you. I can envision this already, the way you're talking about it. And it makes total sense to me. It's totally Star Wars, the way Star Wars works, right? Because you have the introduction episode at the end of the episode, and she comes out of the shadows. I'm Ahsoka Tano. I can help you, right? There, you have your introduction. We pick up in the next episode. They're walking down the streets of Mos Eisley or wherever, talking about what their next move is. You know, they've already gotten to know each other. We don't have to like sit through that, you know. That's kind of how Star Wars works. That works for me. It totally works for me.
Yeah. And I think I've seen all kinds of things now, like this confirms Ahsoka's in season 2 of The Mandalorian. And it's like they're coming out with another lightsaber. And the likeness looks a lot like Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
Which I saw the packaging.
Yeah, so did I. That's one of those stories. Yeah.
It looks a lot like Rosario Dawson.
It sure does. I think that's.
Say, I gotta say, she looks damn good as Ahsoka.
Right. I think that's intentional. I think that is geared towards, you know, her appearance on The Mandalorian, and I would say probable further live action presence. How's that?
Yes.
So I mean,
it's only fitting for that character at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we've had more stories with that character than any other character in Star Wars.
Yeah, so. Really. Yeah.
At least in canon.
Yeah. So, I will say this. Writing credits, yes, it's kind of weighted heavily towards Jon Favreau, but with what we got in season 1, don't think that's a bad thing. So,
oh yeah, I totally wasn't complaining.
I think they saw a formula there that works, and they're gonna stick with it. So, and I can't blame them one bit for it because it worked out excellent in the first season.
Yeah, and we know how Jon Favreau's been writing this series.
Yeah.
You know, he's leaning on his Star Wars friends.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I've got 8 pages here. I need you to look at it. Make sure it works. Dave's like, yeah, that'll be all right. You got to take this part about the, Ewoks riding the dewback out. Yeah.
That's just weird, man.
Exactly.
This week on The Mandalorian.
Right.
Ewoks riding dewbacks.
Yes. So that relationship right there, I think works out really well, because from the things that we've seen, the little snippets that we've seen in Disney Galleries, The Mandalorian, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was pretty evident that those two working together do a great job at making this thing happen. So, yeah.
Like even the other, even the directors, and seeing the directors and how they were working with both Dave and John.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was totally a group effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's writing this thing, but he's not writing it in stone. They're going in there and the foundation's there, but there's some fluidity there.
Right.
And they are adapting along the way to make the best possible Star Wars. The way George did it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because George wrote, okay, this is my story. This is what I wrote. But he's like seeing it play out in front of him. And he's like, man, that wasn't it.
Right.
Let's do this instead.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a plan, there's a start, there's an end. And I'm going to emphasize that. There's a start, there's an end. And they have meetings.
Yes. Yeah. All these directors and writers and showrunners, and yeah, they all know what the other ones are doing. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, they're not talking about the sequel trilogy and like, we think it's headed to a great place.
Yeah. This was the plan from the start. Yeah.
Yeah, like, we bet you're going to be surprised because we don't even know what the hell is going to happen.
And that's exactly how it went. Yes.
All right. So there's been some rumors around The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And, some of them are fueled by actors.
Right. Yes.
You want to take this?
Well, let's see. I don't know if I can. Oh, wait, there it is. So
I just want you to say his name. I can take it over from there. I just don't want to butcher his name.
It's a story that we all know. It's been around a little while, a couple weeks, but it's just so interesting because the reason why I picked up on it was because it's like every little thing that we're seeing now is like, oh my God, here's this. And I almost get the feeling like, this guy had no idea what he was doing when he's like, what he was unleashing upon himself when he did this. But Rahul Kohli, yeah, and I'm sure you all saw his tweet, but yeah, if you wanted to take it, Joe, go right ahead. It's
all right.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I got it. So this is how rumors start, right? Like, you say something on Twitter,
yeah,
and
yep,
people run with it.
Yes.
People run with it, especially when you say, and I'm just going to put it out like this. People are especially going to run with it when you say shit like this.
Yep.
Because, man, there was nothing suspicious about. I've gotten into that Lothal orphan, force sensitive, trained by Kanan Jarrus kind of shape for no particular reason. Really, dude?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, wait. And your tweet before that on the same day was, remember, people, there's only one show you need to watch this October, The Mandalorian. Oh, and The Haunting of Bly Manor on October 9th.
Yeah. So
Okay.
therefore,
bro,
he's got to be Ezra.
Bro. What you think was going to happen?
Right.
Now, I'll say this. If this is you lobbying for the role, sir, you are a genius.
Yes. And I'm all for it. Because he looks like he could play the part really well.
Oh, man, there's like pictures of him next to Ezra, and then Ezra had a beard drawn on him. It's
yeah.
Like, holy crap. This guy looks like Ezra.
Yes, exactly. So that part of it works for me. But, yeah, I seriously, I don't think that he realized what kind of a storm he was kicking up here. Because,
no, I thought he was, I believe him, okay? He was joking around. And
yeah.
he didn't realize what he was about to do. But, with that being said, I scrolled through his Twitter feed a little bit, things like that, kind of got a feel for him.
Yep.
He's a geek like the rest of us.
Sure.
He likes Star Wars. He likes video games. He likes, Harry Potter. He's into stuff. Like we're into stuff.
Yeah.
So I find it hard to believe you don't have your finger on the pulse of Star Wars fandom at all. because we're nuts, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
We're nuts. We latch onto this kind of stuff.
You
should know.
You let a little thread like that stick out, we're yanking on it.
Now, I will say this, that sentence does look like it is constructed by a fan, not by an actor who just got signed to something. It's just a little too descriptive, right?
I got you. Someone
I've
who's
gotten into that Lothal orphan, force sensitive, trained by Kanan Jarrus kind of shape. That is pretty specific for someone who just signed on to a role.
Right.
That's not into Star Wars.
Right, yeah. This isn't an actor who just got the part. Yeah, this is somebody who knows the shows, right?
Yeah, this dude's one of us.
Yes. Now, if one of us gets the part, hey, bravo. But, that doesn't always happen.
The more I went through his feed and saw what he had to say about Star Wars and just, video games thing, I'm like, yeah, sign this dude up.
Right.
Because, I, like you said, love to see one of us. Because this dude's a fan.
Yeah.
So being a fan, he's going to go out there and he's going to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So I do think it did get to the point where he finally realized he had to come out and make a statement. Because things were swirling up around the internet about this, and I think
hold on.
What?
Before that video?
Yeah.
Like I will censor this a little bit.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
I mean, you're gonna know what I'm saying here, but I'll censor it here. So he says, "Oh bleep, I was just goofing around. Where the bleep is my publicist? Please take over my social accounts."
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. He didn't realize the hornet's nest he was kicking up.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Next one, because he had to do it again.
Yes. I this is I guess this is where he has to actually come out and make it clear, right?
Right.
Hey, so I was kidding. I honestly big shout out to the Star Wars fandom. I'm a part of it. I'm not playing Ezra Bridger at all. I was just goofing around. It's a fan casting. I'd absolutely love to play that character. I'm a big fan of Rebels. But yeah, I'm sorry for any hearts broken. It was just goofing around, just a silly fan casting. Anyway, have fun.
I love that he's got the Mando music playing there. That's
yeah.
I think there's a part of him.
This is the thing. Like he does that in all of these.
Yeah.
In all of these, there's an apology, and then there's something that
a little trolling going on.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna throw a blanket over it, but I'm gonna throw some gas on top of that blanket.
Right.
And then I'm gonna come with another blanket.
Yep.
So he is there's a little bit of trolling going on with this.
Yes. But it does seem like it's all in good fun. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll say this: it's really hard to tell because he is such a fan.
Right.
So he's a fan, and there's definitely some playing around going with that. Which, if he is doing it, and this is just to boost everything, then wow, well done, because man, he's definitely sowing confusion, but he's getting people talking about it. So great marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
If not,
okay. So real quick,
I'm definitely on your side to do this in the future, because you obviously want to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I just want to bring this up real quick because I know we got to start wrapping, but your thoughts on Ezra Bridger making his way into The Mandalorian?
No.
Agreed.
Yeah,
that was quick.
Hard pass.
Yeah. I just don't think it's the right place. If there's a notion that we might see this Ezra Thrawn show that might bring Hera into it or something later on down the road, awesome, fine, I'd watch it for sure. But yes, I don't think The Mandalorian is the place for Ezra. So, yeah.
No, because I mean, at that point you do that, and then that show's got to be a prequel. You know, there would have to be a prequel show to like, oh wow, they found him.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Like if he just shows up with the crew, it's like, wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. You're right.
What the hell just happened here?
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
the Ghost Crew show would have to be a prequel. Yes.
Yeah. This is how you handle like one of the biggest cliffhangers in Star Wars of recent history.
Yeah. Nope. I do like the thought of a live action show, especially if you could end up bringing Thrawn into it as well, Ezra and Thrawn. But yeah make that its own thing, because I think The Mandalorian can stand on its own feet by itself.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need Ezra Bridger, and I know we got a wrap, but you don't need Harrison Dula.
Right.
That's a big thing that's come out of Squadrons right now. Like,
yeah,
why Hera has to be in season 2 of The Mandalorian. I'm like, what?
Just because the timeline kind of lines up. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, it lines up. It's got to happen.
Right.
No. First off, The Mandalorian and Hera. First off, we knew Hera was still out there. We knew this timeline lined up before Squadrons.
Right.
Squadrons was not a confirmation. The confirmation already happened. It was called the end of Rebels.
Yeah.
Literally, the last episode lined Hera's existence up with the events of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, this was a soft, real soft connection.
Yeah. I don't think there's very much merit to the whole Hera thing. I mean, if she is in the show, okay, hopefully she's there for a good purpose, and it's pretty brief. But the whole Ezra thing, I love that this guy's having fun with it, and I could see it being its own show, but in Mandalorian, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird to me to see Star Wars fans like really want this like big superhero mashup happening in the season 2 of The Mandalorian, where they're going to have no story because all they're doing is introducing new characters.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Look, this is not the Avengers. This is Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. As much as Disney would like it to be Avengers, it's not. Sorry, was that too much?
No, we like story over here.
Exactly.
It's not about who can appear.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I think that'll about do it.
Yeah. Agreed.
If you have anything to add to the conversation, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media. We're at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. Find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We will talk next week.